The national media, the odds makers, all the bookies across the land are picking the Pittsburgh Steelers to lose this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills in a big way. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's talk about this money line. Let's talk about the odds. Let's talk about everybody picking against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And is that a wise thing for everybody to be doing? Should everybody be thinking this? Is this exactly the way this is going to go? Or does momentum and things of that nature play a role? Right now you see the Pittsburgh Steelers and you look at this money line and you look at the Vegas odds. The Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 380 right now on the money line. The Buffalo Bills are minus 500. That's a big gap on the money line, guys. That's some good odds if you pick the Pittsburgh Steelers. You throw $10 on the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can make a couple bucks on that. The Pittsburgh Steelers are being counted out in many, many ways, and it seems as though everybody is counting them out, especially with a money line like that. That's absolutely crazy. Then you look at the odds. I've seen the odds as high as minus 10 in favor of the Buffalo Bills winning this football game. That means, if you're not a betting person, that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get beat by 10 points. That's the spread. That means that the Pittsburgh Steelers, Vegas is predicting that they won't cover a 10-point spread. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, if you want a good bet this weekend and you want to try to make some money, put your money on the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover at minus 10. Put your Pittsburgh Steelers maybe on the money line if you want to try to make a couple bucks. That might be a wise choice because I think these odds makers and I think these bookmakers are leaning a little bit too heavy toward the Buffalo Bills, and they're giving them a little bit more credit than I think they actually deserve. The Buffalo Bills on paper are absolutely monsters compared to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They should beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 9 times out of 10 if you look at it on paper. And you look at all the things that matter statistically. You look at the weapons that the Buffalo Bills have as opposed to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You look at all those things, and yes, you would probably say, if you were a betting man, that the Buffalo Bills, if you didn't watch any of the football games, you don't look at any of the momentum, you don't look at anything else, you would say that the Buffalo Bills should win this game going away. But there's a few variables inside the NFL and inside sport as a whole that a lot of people don't take into consideration. And I know too, if you're betting on games, you're doing those things, you can't use emotion. You have to use numbers, statistical values to be able to properly make a bet. But every once in a while, there rolls around a game like this that maybe you should look into some of the other variables, like momentum, like confidence, things of that nature. Just in general, being counted out and the amount of fight that you'll have because you think that it is you against the entire world. This team right now, under the tutelage of Mike Tomlin, under veterans like guys that have won Super Bowls like a Landon Roberts, who I've seen an interview with Arthur Moats on his channel talking about how fired up he is and how it means so much to get that Lombardi trophy and how different of a feel it is to have that confetti rain down on you and know that it's for you and know that you succeeded and got to the top of the mountain. Guys like that inside that locker room could really get this team fired up and really create a variable that these guys in the odds room don't take into account. They don't look at. And I think if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, yeah, probably you shouldn't bet with your heart if you are a betting person. You should always look at the statistics. But this is a game that I think could come down to who wants it more. I looked at the weather forecast just this morning, and it said 21 degrees and windy. Now, we'll see. It does get really windy sometimes up in Buffalo. We'll see how bad that wind is. We'll see how much the gusts are. We'll see all those variables as we inch closer to game time and see exactly what we should be looking at. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're going against this Buffalo Bills team that's coming off a bunch of wins here, they won the division against the Miami Dolphins down in South Beach. That's momentum too. But I've had some commenters come onto my page and they live in the Buffalo area onto the channel talking about how everyone in that area, everyone seems to be overlooking the Pittsburgh Steelers. They seem to be counting them out. They seem to think that this is a pushover type game. And I don't know how true that really is. I think when you look at teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're sitting there as the Buffalo Bills hosting a playoff game, which I really don't think matters that much in the wild card round, I think you shouldn't discount a team like the Steelers because they've become a dangerous football team, as we've said on the channel here a couple times this week already. When you're able to have a confident leader under center and you're able to start getting behind a guy like that, you start to build momentum. You start to build confidence. You start to be able to do things that you once weren't able to do. And how do you game plan against that if you're the Buffalo Bills? Could be tough. You're game planning against more than just the X's and O's. You're game planning against a variable of confidence. You're game planning against a level of excitement and being just strictly fired up to the max. You're playing against that. You got a game plan against that. You got to be able to weather that storm if you're the Buffalo Bills. And I, for one, look for the Pittsburgh Steelers to come out and try to come out and smack the Buffalo Bills in the mouth early and often. I look for them to try to lay the gas pedal to the floor and really try to put them under some pressure, some heavy heat. We've seen the Buffalo Bills be able to come back. But we've also seen Josh Allen crack under some pressure occasionally. We've seen him do good also under pressure. But man, you're in the playoffs. It's lose and go home, win and move on. And if you're Josh Allen, you're facing a Steelers defense that is lacking TJ Watt. You're facing a Steelers defense that's getting healthier in the back end, that has had the emergence of guys like Eric Rowe. You've had an inside linebacker core now for the Pittsburgh Steelers start to be able to mend together after major injuries. And that is going to end up being a problem, I think, for the Buffalo Bills. I think also you're going to have an excitement level from guys like Nick Herbig, Marcus Golden, who haven't got their opportunities this season, who haven't been able to really shine the way that they want to, and they are going to be hungry. They are going to be fired up. Then you look at the middle of the defensive line, guys like Cameron Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, a rookie like Keanu Benton. A guy like Cam Hayward is going to be juiced, guys. Absolutely juiced. I know he hasn't played well the last few games. Really, since he's come back from his injury, he hasn't been the same Cameron Hayward that we are used to, that Captain Cam. I know that. But he realizes this is one of his last chances. He realizes that this is a moment that he has to seize. And that variable inside that defense, a guy that is fighting for everything for his career, is something that is going to be hard to deal with if you're that Buffalo Bills offensive front. Buffalo doesn't allow a ton of sacks, but these guys are going to be juiced. And you can see it. We've seen the Steelers go into Buffalo before and take an ass beating. But we've seen them go in there and upset the Buffalo Bills also when the Steelers weren't supposed to win. We saw the Steelers control a game in the preseason against the Buffalo Bills. You've seen the Bills stumble, getting to 6-6, firing their offensive coordinator. We've seen all that. So these teams, if you really look at it and you look at it as a whole, have been kind of on the same path. The Steelers started out well, looking like they could control their own destiny, and then hit a rough patch and had to battle back, just like the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills started out a little bit rough and got themselves to 6-6 and fired a guy, like the Steelers fired their offensive coordinator. And now these teams find themselves both inside this first round of the wild card playoff for the AFC. There's a lot at stake here, guys. There's a lot of things that aren't being talked about in the media. There's a lot of things that go into these games that get overlooked. And I just think that some of these people are maybe giving the Buffalo Bills a little bit too much credit, giving them a little bit too much in terms of points, and discounting this Steelers team that has been on a roll with a guy like Mason Rudolph. And like I said, you're looking at a defense that has guys in it like Minka Fitzpatrick-Steele, Alex Highsmith, and let's not discount Landon Roberts. I keep saying it. The guy has won a Lombardi Trophy. The guy has been on good teams. A guy that's been on bad teams also. He's been in many different cultures. And he knows what wins and what doesn't win. And he knows how you have to get fired up for these games. And a guy like him in that locker room is going to prove to be monstrous for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And prove to be a special intangible that people aren't counting on. That people aren't looking at. I want to wrap this up, guys, but the whole focus of this video, this episode today here on Mic Drop Sports, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, but make sure you like these videos to send them out into that magical YouTube algorithm. The videos have done tremendous as of late. The subscriber count has went up so much. I appreciate it so very much, and it's been awesome. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to the conversation. We love having you here. You'll find this to be a place that you can vent and people aren't going to dog you for it. So just get on here, say what you want to say, man. Come for our live show tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I unpack this Buffalo Bills game with Sean, a guy that's come onto the channel here in the last couple months and has provided great content for us, always talking them Steelers with us here, and we love to have it here on Wednesdays, and it has become really special. So come and join us. It's awesome show. I love to hear all your comments. But again, I just wanted to come on here and talk about how this Pittsburgh Steelers team has been totally discounted, guys. Has been totally thrown away. Has been counted out. How many times in this season have they been counted out? It's been a shit ton. Everybody has left this Steelers team for dead so many times, but yet here they are. They're still a thorn in your ass, man. Here they are. The Pittsburgh Steelers are still here, still ready to go. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up and get off. But look out for our members only video that'll be dropping today also, and that's for our Mic Drop Mafia members. 99-cent subscription gets you a month, gets you the badges. We're working on the emojis, gets you a weekly upload of exclusive content for Mic Drop Media members only. So consider doing that. Consider subscribing again, and also we appreciate your super thanks, super chats, all that stuff. It has been awesome to receive those, and I thank you so much. Also, if you become a Mic Drop Media member tonight in our live shows, you will have priority on your comments being answered, all that stuff. So, big things happening. And we'll see how this week continues to play out for your Pittsburgh Steelers as they go into Orchard Park, New York to take on the Buffalo Bills in the AFC wildcard round. Until next time, this is Mic Drop Sports. I'm Jason. Peace.